From our Toronto studios, this is the Muslim News on Muslim Network TV. Assalamu alaikum, I'm Aishah Ashraf. President Donald Trump has acknowledged the deepening famine in Gaza. He says children in Gaza look very hungry. This and more in our today's show, so stay tuned. For the first time, two major Israeli human rights groups have declared that Israel is committing genocide in Gaza. In their explosive reports, B'Tselem and Physicians for Human Rights Israel, or PHR, accuse the Israeli government of carrying out what they say is a deliberate, systematic campaign to destroy Palestinian life. The groups cite Israel's indiscriminate bombings, mass civilian deaths, forced displacement, starvation, and the collapse of Gaza's healthcare system. They warned that Israel's military actions, coupled with statements from top leaders, prove genocidal intent under international law. B'Tselem director Yuli Novak said the Israeli destruction of a people cannot be ignored and urged global action. PHR's report highlights Israel's targeted destruction of Gaza's health infrastructure, calling it a method of extermination. The groups hold Western governments partly responsible, saying the war could not continue without their support. They also warned that Israel's same genocidal pattern may soon extend to the West Bank, unless the world intervenes now. Novak said the genocide became possible only because Israel for decades has dehumanized Palestinians and denied their rights. For the first time, America's largest Jewish denomination has condemned Israel's role in Gaza's humanitarian crisis. The Reformed Jewish movement says Israel's starvation of thousands in Gaza cannot be ignored or excused. It has urged an end to debates over definitions and called the situation dire and deadly. The group stressed that Israel bears responsibility. The statement was signed by top leaders of the Union for Reform Judaism, the Central Conference of American Rabbis, and the American Conference of Cantors. They have called for urgent action to stop the suffering. Dozens of protesters rallied outside the White House on Sunday, demanding an end to Israel's blockade of food and humanitarian aid to Gaza. Chanting and waving Palestinian flags, the demonstrators banged pots and pans, accusing Israel of using starvation as a weapon of war. Banners read, "Let the food trucks in," as they called on the U.S. to halt its support for Israel. Gaza's famine is worsening. Harrowing images show emaciated residents collapsing from hunger and dehydration. Gaza's health ministry has reported 5 more hunger-related deaths, 2 of them children, raising the toll to 127. The World Food Programme warns that 1 in 3 Palestinians in Gaza has gone days without food. Despite global outrage, Israel continues its genocide, leaving Gaza in ruins, forcibly displacing residents from their homes and pushing millions to the brink of famine. Former U.S. President Barack Obama has urged immediate action to prevent starvation in Gaza. In a post on X, Obama stressed that aid must be allowed into the region. He wrote, "There is no justification for keeping food and water from civilian families." Obama linked to 2 New York Times articles highlighting the worsening crisis. He added that while a long-term solution needs a ceasefire and release of prisoners, the urgent priority is stopping the deaths from hunger. President Donald Trump has acknowledged the deepening famine in Gaza. Speaking in Scotland during talks with UK Prime Minister Keir Starmer, Trump said children in Gaza look very hungry, adding, "We have to get the kids fed." His remarks mark a rare public disagreement with Israeli officials who continue to deny widespread starvation in the besieged territory. Trump also addressed the war in Ukraine, saying he now is giving Russia just 10 to 12 days to end the conflict, shortening his earlier 50-day deadline. The president's comments come amid mounting international concern and pressure to act over Israel's deliberate starvation of Gaza. The Trump administration is using artificial intelligence to cut federal red tape. A new system by the Department of Government Efficiency, called the DOGE AI deregulation tool, aims to eliminate half of all U.S. regulations by January 2026. It has already reviewed approximately 100,000 rules at housing and financial agencies. Officials claim it will boost efficiency and save billions. But critics warn that the AI has misread laws and could spark legal battles. Despite concerns, President Donald Trump plans to expand the tool across all agencies. Illinois man convicted of murdering a 6-year-old Palestinian-American boy in a hate-fueled attack has died in prison. Details coming up next.
মোনা কনভেনশন 2025 টর্চ বেয়ারার অফ ইসলাম এই স্লোগানকে সামনে রেখে মোনা কনভেনশন 2025 অনুষ্ঠিত হবে আগামী 8, 9 ও 10 আগস্ট ফিলাডেলফিয়ার পেনসিলভেনিয়া কনভেনশন সেন্টারে। 30 জনের অধিক আন্তর্জাতিক ইসলামী স্কলাররা থাকছেন এবারের মোনা কনভেনশনে। 25,000-এরও বেশি ডেলিগেটস যোগ দিতে যাচ্ছেন মোনা কনভেনশন 2025-এ। এছাড়াও থাকছে আলাদা ইয়ুথ কনফারেন্স, প্যারালাল সেশন, ইয়াং সিস্টার সেশন, হেলথ ক্লিনিক, হালাল ফুড কর্নার, চিলড্রেন লার্ন অ্যান্ড ফান প্রোগ্রাম এবং বাজার অ্যান্ড এক্সপো। মোনা কনভেনশন 2025-এ আর্লি রেজিস্ট্রেশনে পাচ্ছেন 25% ডিসকাউন্ট। তাই দ্রুত রেজিস্ট্রেশন করুন। বিস্তারিত জানতে ভিজিট করুন www.monaconvention.com.
Muna Convention 2025 is coming, and you don't want to miss the event of the year. With over 25,000 attendees, it's one of the largest annual gatherings of American Muslims. This isn't just a convention, it's a celebration of faith, learning, community, and inspiration. Join world-renowned speakers. This is your moment to reconnect, reflect, and be inspired. From youth programs and college sessions to daycare, Quran competitions, and talent shows, there's something for every member of the family. Shop the Bazaar and Expo with over 200 vendors featuring faith-based products, books, gifts, and cultural treasures. Visit munaconvention.com to register now. Spaces are filling fast. We can't wait to welcome you.
Welcome back. 2 U.S. senators are demanding answers over what they call contradictory and dangerous U.S. policies on deporting people from Haiti. Senators Edward Markey and Raphael Warnock have written to Secretary of State Marco Rubio and Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem urging clarity on U.S. actions in the crisis-hit Caribbean nation. They say it is reckless to deport Haitian migrants while Haiti is a war zone. The letter also questions the role of a U.S. private military contractor reportedly linked to Blackwater founder Eric Prince. They are carrying out armed operations in Haiti under a contract with the transitional government there. The senators warned that these operations may violate U.S. arms export laws, especially if carried out without proper licensing. They also criticized the Trump administration's decision to end Haiti's temporary protected status while adding it to the travel ban list. With 90% of Haiti's capital, Port-au-Prince, under gang control, lawmakers say U.S. credibility and human rights standards are at risk. The 73-year-old Illinois man who murdered a Palestinian-American child in a hate crime has died in prison. Joseph Chuba was serving a 53-year sentence for stabbing to death 6-year-old Wadi Al-Fayumi and seriously wounding his mother, Hanan Shaheen, in October 2023. Chuba was the landlord of the building that Al-Fayumi and Shaheen lived in the Chicago suburb of Plainfield. Authorities say the attack was driven by anti-Muslim hatred inflamed by television news coverage of Israel's genocide in Gaza. Chuba stabbed the child 26 times with a knife pulled from his belt, reportedly telling the family they had to leave because they were Muslim. Chuba's ex-wife, Mary, testified that he once called Wadi his grandson, but grew agitated after watching television news coverage of Israel's attack on Gaza. The trial included disturbing crime scene photos, video, and a frantic 911 call from Shaheen. A community park playground in Plainfield was dedicated to the boy last month, bearing his name. A rising number of African Americans are choosing to leave the U.S. and settle in African countries. Many say they are seeking a deeper connection to their roots, a better quality of life, and an escape from growing political tension back home. YouTuber Austin Hallman, who is now based in Kenya, says he feels safe accepted and at home there. He warns that U.S. politics under President Donald Trump is straining international relations, making life harder for American expats. Ghana's year of return in 2019 drew global attention, with 524 Black Americans granted citizenship last year. In Kenya, relocation services like Adila Relocation are booming, offering help with housing, banking, and healthcare. Adila Muhammad, who started the service, calls it a spiritual awakening. Experts say this reverse migration could boost African economies, but also signals a talent loss for the U.S. Israeli forces have seized another aid ship trying to break the blockade on Gaza. The vessel, named Handala, was intercepted near the Gaza coast and towed to Ashdod port on Sunday. It was carrying food, baby formula, and medical supplies. On board were 21 unarmed civilians, including medics, investigators, and volunteers. Israeli media reports say the passengers were questioned and handed over to the police. The Handala was launched by the Freedom Flotilla coalition from Italy. Organizers say the ship was illegally seized in international waters. Human rights lawyers from the group Adala are seeking access to the detainees. In recent months, it has intercepted several aid ships, including one with climate activist Greta Thunberg on board. Since March 2nd, Israel has enforced a total blockade on Gaza, barring entry of food, medicine, and humanitarian aid. Aid agencies have repeatedly warned of a man-made famine with no sign of easing. The United Nations says the famine in Gaza has reached the fifth and final stage. It notes that Israel is blocking its 6,000 trucks waiting on the border to deliver supplies to Gaza. Israel has allowed only 73 aid trucks to enter Gaza in the last 24 hours. Local authorities say famine has spread across the region. Officials have accused Israel of deliberately fueling the crisis and said the entire population, 2.4 million people, including 1.1 million children, now face severe food insecurity. Despite global pledges, only a fraction of promised aid is reaching Gaza. Many trucks are being looted or delayed, and airdrops are landing in active combat zones marked on Israeli maps, making retrieval nearly impossible. Authorities have condemned what they call false promises by world powers and demanded immediate, unconditional access to food, water, and infant formula. Israel, under global pressure, announced limited pauses in fighting for aid corridors. Jordan and the UAE confirmed 3 airdrops on Sunday, barely equivalent to 2 truckloads. Australia has witnessed a sharp rise in Islamophobic incidents since Israel launched its genocide in Gaza in October 2023. A new report says women and girls, mainly those wearing headscarves, make up around 75% of the victims. Most attackers are non-Muslim men. Researchers from Monash and Deakin universities analyzed more than 600 incidents from January 2023 to November 2024, confirming that Muslim women are overwhelmingly targeted. The Islamophobia Register Australia has documented thousands of cases. Director Nora Ahmed says Islamophobia has become part of daily life for many Muslim women in the country. She blames not only global events, but also local political rhetoric for fueling hate. A major global review of 51 studies involving nearly 30 million people has found strong links between air pollution and dementia. Researchers say the biggest culprit is PM2.5, which are tiny particles from car exhausts, factories, and fires. These can enter deep into the lungs, travel through the bloodstream, and possibly reach the brain. Other harmful pollutants include nitrogen dioxide and soot. Researchers say these pollutants likely cause brain inflammation and oxidative stress, which are both key drivers of Alzheimer's and other dementias. Dementia already affects more than 57 million people worldwide. The number could reach 152.8 million by 2050. As well, the review found that low-income and marginalized communities face greater exposure to toxic air. Experts say cleaner air is the key to protecting brain health in the decades to come. The findings were published in The Lancet Planetary Health. That's all from our Toronto studios. Thank you for watching Muslim News. We are a community channel dedicated to bringing you stories you can trust. Please like, share, and subscribe to our content. You can also comment to let us know what you think of our coverage. You can donate now by visiting muslimnetwork.tv/donate. For more content, keep watching Muslim Network TV. Salam.